What if I told you the iPhone in your pocket only exists because of a deal made with Apple's worst enemy? Would you believe it? This is the story about a devastating betrayal between two friends and a shocking rescue of Apple from the brink of extinction. This is the untold story of Apple and Microsoft, and the shocking deal that changed everything in the tech world. Back in late 70s and early 80s, Apple and Microsoft weren't enemies. In fact, they were allies. Apple needed software for its revolutionary Macintosh computers. A small company, Microsoft, stepped in. They created Word and Excel. A perfect partner. It seemed like a beautiful friendship. And then the unexpected happened. Steve Jobs made a fatal mistake. He shared his ultimate secret with Microsoft. You see, back then, computers were dull command lines, just green text on a black screen. You would have to type complex commands to make the computer work. And then came the radical idea: graphical interface, icons, windows, and a mouse. A company named Xerox first developed the concept. Yes, the same company that makes photocopy machine. So Steve Jobs perfected the concept inside his Macintosh computers. In 1983, he led Microsoft's engineers to have a look at the project before Apple even launched it. Just a few months later, Microsoft released their Windows 1.0, which looked almost similar like Apple's GUI. Steve Jobs exploded in anger, accusing Bill Gates of stealing. Steve even sued Microsoft for that. Gates fired back with a savage response. Well, Steve, I think it's more like we both had this rich neighbor named Xerox. I broke into his house to steal his TV, and you said you got there first. The betrayal was just the beginning. In 1985, Steve Jobs got fired from his own company. From the sidelines, he watched as Microsoft Windows took over the world, installing on cheap PCs, gobbling up 90% of the market. Without its visionary, Apple drifted into chaos. Its production line became chaotic maze. The Newton PDA was a public punchline, and Apple began bleeding money. Over $1 billion lost just in a single year. Michael Dell, CEO of Dell Computer, one of the Apple's biggest competitors, publicly mocked them. The best thing to do would be to shut it down and return the money to the shareholders. And honestly, no one even disagreed. Apple was drowning in darkness, forgotten, finished. Then the unthinkable happened, something no one saw coming. Apple's greatest rival, Microsoft, is investing $150 million to keep it alive. The very company that nearly killed Apple had just saved it from death. With that unexpected lifeline from Microsoft, Steve Jobs got to work. And he didn't waste a second. He cleaned the house, eliminating nearly 70% of Apple's bloated product line. No more confusing names, no more clutter. Just focus, simplicity, and above all, design. In 1998, Apple released iMac G3, a burst of colors in a world of beige boxes. Then came the iPod. It revolutionized how we listened to music. And in 2007, the iPhone arrived, a product so transformative it redefined what a phone even was. Today, both Apple and Microsoft stand as titans, but they have taken very different paths. Apple dominates the consumer tech space, designing iconic hardware, crafting tight ecosystems, and selling over 200 million iPhones a year. The rivalry still exists, but it has evolved. It's no longer about operating system or personal computers. Now it's about ecosystem, platforms, and the future of how we live and work. From best friends to enemies to unlikely saviors. It's a reminder that in tech world, rivalry and survival often go hand in hand. Today, Apple is the king of premium consumer electronics. But do you know this Apple has also destroyed a startup in a single night? Check out this video and subscribe.